Fine. I'll lose the baby.
St. Augustine once said, "The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page." Traveling is indeed one of life's great pleasures. As college students, many of us do not have a great opportunity to do so. However, there is a way to see the world while maintaining your studies, through study abroad. Study abroad has become increasingly popular in the U.S., and for good reason. My time abroad was one of the most life-changing events of my life. It is in my opinion that every college student should study abroad at some point during their course of study at their university. According to the Institute of International Education, 260,327 students from the U.S. studied abroad in the 2008 to 2009 school year. This number is double that of what it was a decade earlier. Study abroad can take place in almost every country in the world, but a majority of these travelers are concentrated in just a few countries. VistaWide.com tells us that about half of all study abroad participants go to one of 6 countries. These are including the United Kingdom, Italy, Spain, France, China, and Australia, with the United Kingdom receiving over 12% of these visitors each year. Of the top 10 most popular destinations, 3 of these are English-speaking countries. Students in any major can continue their coursework abroad, but the most common fields of study include social science, business, and humanities. Only 6.2% of students that go abroad are foreign language majors. Depending on your situation and program, one can be abroad from anywhere from a month to several years. So, now that you know the basic facts about studying abroad, let's look at the reasons why someone wouldn't want to. I think that probably the biggest barrier for college students is the financial responsibility associated with it. This is completely understandable, and I worried a lot about this before I left. What most people aren't aware of, however, is how the tuition and housing work, and also the amount of financial aid available. For my program and many others, your program will be a direct exchange and offers you the same tuition rate as your home institution. For anyone that is attending out of state, tuition for studying abroad may even be cheaper, as you will get in-state rate for your college abroad. There are also plenty of scholarships and grants available for those that are planning to study abroad. Aside from the ones your university offers, there are also plenty available on the national level, especially for those planning on doing foreign language coursework. For K-State, any scholarships you possess will go towards your study abroad expenses. Study abroad can be as expensive as you want it to, depending on where you go, how long you're there, how much traveling you want to do, and what you're going to buy there. Luckily, in many countries, travel and living expenses are exponentially cheaper than they are in the U.S. Another reservation people have about studying abroad is what they're leaving behind. Being homesick was very common among my friends while I was living in the Czech Republic. People oftentimes have trouble hearing about the life that is going on without them back home, especially in regards to their family. I will say that the first several weeks overseas were very difficult for me, but you just have to think about what you're doing and how much you are gaining from this awesome experience. If you're worried about your classes not transferring, there is a process you complete before you go abroad to ensure that your credits count at your home university when you get back. Studying abroad did set me back a little, but believe me, it was all worth it. That being said, there are countless reasons why I think that everyone should study abroad. Obviously, seeing the world is a big part of it. I was able to visit 8 countries during my semester, and now I feel like I have so much more knowledge about Europe. One day in particular, I traveled through 4 countries with 4 different languages and currencies. Here, I'll pass these around. You guys can see some of the currencies. Those are from the Czech Republic. Each place presents you with something new, like their money, and unique that you can appreciate. Learning is probably the biggest benefit of study abroad, and I'm not really talking about what you learn inside the classroom. Each day taught me something about their culture and customs. Almost every day I was put out of my comfort zone in order to experience something more and fit in with the culture around me. I would highly recommend going somewhere that does not speak English. This even made going to the grocery store a big task, but it did help me learn the language. You gain a lot more knowledge about yourself when you study abroad. You watch yourself struggle with a culture, language, and a new way of living, all while you're going to school and trying to make new friends. Being put in these situations allows you to watch yourself and how you handle these situations. Living thousands of miles away from anyone you know lets you become a stronger and more independent person because you have to figure out all of these things on your own. And think about it, this is probably the only time in your life when it's okay for you to just up and leave and move to another country without having to worry about your permanent job or your family back home. This is the best time to do it anyway. The cheapest way to travel is by staying in hostels and traveling during the night or at odd hours. These are things you can stand to do when you're younger. We should also be at our peak physical capacity at this time in our lives, or somewhere close about it, so you can have so many more experiences. I don't think I could have hiked through the countryside of Ireland or stood the freezing cold temperatures of the Mediterranean Sea in Croatia had I been 20 years older. Another great reason to study abroad is the benefits that you can reap in the future from it. You may have a great opportunity to learn another language, which makes anyone more competitive when searching for a job or applying to graduate school. I spent the last 4 months studying Czech so that I can speak with my grandfather and better complete my work promoting the Czech heritage. This is my Czech workbook that I used the entire 4 months to help me learn the language, and I still look at it from time to time to brush up on my language. Look at that too. Now that I'm sure I have convinced you, let's talk about how you prepare to study abroad. The main thing to remember is that the majority of the responsibility and planning is on you. This is not for the faint of heart. The first thing to do is to research where you want to go and for how long. Then go talk to your advisors in the Study Abroad office. They will be able to help you pick out a program that is right for you and your major. Plus, they'll give you a cool t-shirt like this. From there, you will begin the application phase. This varies from country to country on which program you choose. For me, I had to be accepted before I could even apply to my program in the Czech Republic. However, my biggest battle came with getting my visa. I ended up waiting on my acceptance letter from my university in the Czech Republic for several months before I could finish my visa application. Make sure you do everything very far in advance. This will prevent any headaches or stress later when you're preparing to leave. I was worrying about whether I could even go just a week before my anticipated departure, all for just a little stamp in my passport. Which you can see. Here, it's my visa, my passport. As a side note, in case any of you ever need to know, you can apply for a second temporary passport while your permanent one is being processed for a visa. After these feats have been accomplished, you can work on planning your travel and booking your tickets. Frequent correspondence with your intended university is very helpful. Another thing that can help you is locating a group of people who will be going to the same place that you are. I found a Facebook group for my Erasmus students before I went and was able to meet people even before I arrived there, and we were able to talk online about how to get things and who was all having trouble with the visa process and kind of relate to each other. Just be ready to work hard and be persistent. Doing things in a timely manner and preparing for any possible outcome will have you ready to leave and enjoy your time abroad. In conclusion, I believe that everyone should study abroad. As long as you put your mind to it, you can have the experience of a lifetime. As Mark Twain said, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones that you did. So throw off the bow lines, sail away from the safe harbor. Catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, and discover. Thank you.